So, and I told you I was going to ask you about this. For people that haven't heard you, maybe you could discuss your style and also dissect between or make the distinction between the covers and the originals and where you're at with that right now.
So as far as what we do, like I said at the beginning, when we all got together, it was we want to do something different. And I say different, we still do covers, but we put our own spin on it. Just because that's how it sounds when you hear it on the radio, does not mean that's how you need to play it. And that's not knocking any musician, any band, or anything like that. But if I want to hear something on the radio, I'm going to turn on the radio, or and I can hear that.
Yeah.
I love hearing how I love now. So our drummer is a heavy. He's got a lot of heavy metal influence. I did not like that. I guess I was indifferent to that type of music.
Okay. Wasn't your calling?
Huh?
It wasn't your calling.
No, it wasn't. I love blues. Okay. I liked some country. I liked, I was just kind of all over the board. But that screaming music, I just wasn't.
Right.
And now, like when I pulled up just now, like Pierce the Veil was screaming in my car. Mm-hmm. I love hearing how someone takes a song that they've heard from an artist and they transform it into what they hear or their version of it.
Sure.
And some of these metal bands, how they'll take pop music, they'll take Britney Spears, they'll take NSYNC, and they transform it into something completely different. Mm-hmm. And it brings a new twist, it brings a new excitement. And so that's kind of what we like to do. Mm-hmm. We mash up songs. So I take that blues influence that I love so much because I feel music needs to have a soul. If you have one tonality through an entire show, you become background music.
Sure.
And that's my opinion. Everybody has their own way of doing things. It becomes background. Mm-hmm. I want you to feel what's in here and what's in here when I sing. When our musicians play, I want you to hear and feel what they're hearing and they're feeling. And I hope that comes across. One of my very favorite songs that we do, and we normally do at the end of a show because I'm burnt out, House of the Rising Sun. Mm-hmm. From New Orleans. It means something to me, but we take it and I put every bit of soul and every bit of passion and we throw a rock spin on it. Johnny Be Good, by the end of it we have double bass in the background, and it turns into just this rocked out party forward. So we take songs, and even if you've heard them before, there is a whole new experience that you're going to get. Music is an experience. Yeah. And for each person, it's a unique experience. For us, even if it's something we're going to take it and we're going to make it our experience and share that with you. So I always tell people, the whole show is a sing-along. It's songs that you hear that necessarily you don't hear at every show. Yeah. But when we start singing it, you're going to know every word. Yeah. Like we do Gangsta's Paradise and Lenny Kravitz's Fly Away, and we mix them together.
Oh wow, okay.
we like when you come to a show, by the time you leave, you go, whoa, that was fun.
A unique experience.
A unique experience, not just that, but life sucks. Life is hard. Yeah. Nobody said being adult was this draining.
Sure.
So at least for a couple hours, and that's why we try and not break that magic when we take a break, or we try not to take too many breaks, or for just a couple hours, leave all the crap, leave all the serious grown up, just leave it behind. When I was little, I always wanted to dress up, and I had an obsession with Betty Boop when I was little. Loved Betty Boop.
Yeah.
And when I got older, I loved Betty Page and how just beautiful and classic. And I literally morphed that into the grown-up version of like what little kid me would have wanted. And it's just, what? Life is hard. You don't have to take it serious every single moment.
Yeah.
So when you come to our shows, we include you like family. There's so many people that have, I don't know how, and I'm so thankful and so grateful. We have almost 5,000 followers on our page.
Okay.
And every person that shows up, we try and greet you like family.
Sure.
Hey, like in between sets, before shows, after shows, you know, we interact. This has become our family because, again, life sucks enough that let's have a night where, you know, when you come, you're going to feel like you're with friends and family.
Yeah.
You're going to be welcome and accepted. It's another thing that we are really big on. We will not play a venue. We will not play a place where, like, we've had some people that, hey, you know, such and such, I know this is this kind of, are we going to be welcome there? Am I going to stick out like a sore thumb? I don't care what nationality, I don't care what race, I don't care what religious beliefs, what identity, you know, you associate with. If everyone's not welcome where we're playing, we don't play there.
Sure.
It's a place of peace and of welcome, and where you can just come and just be yourself and be goofy and silly, and I dance around like an idiot on stage. Yeah. And I hope it's infectious. And when I see everybody else out there dancing, I'll get out there in the crowd and dance with people too. You know, if it's your birthday, you know, we're celebrating with you. If it's your wedding, we're celebrating with you. If it's your divorce party, we are absolutely celebrating with you. Yeah. Everybody needs a break from everyday life, and that is where, when Tony said we want to do something different, something that stands out, something that's not like everything else out there. This is become such a family and such a community.
Before we started rolling, you and I were talking about the idea of originals. Yes. And maybe you could explain that again to everyone else.
So from the very beginning, especially during COVID, I guess I always wrote poetry when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And that is something that's carried over whenever I'm having a hard time. I find I write from tragedy, from sadness, more than, you know.
I think a lot of people do.
I've had a great day.
Yeah, I think that's a Hallmark
My steak
card.
was cooked perfect today, you know. But it's more, you know, those heart-wrenching moments that I feel if they build up too much, it can consume you. Yeah. Plus, I'm super ADD, and part of being like neurodivergent and ADD is you obsess over things. Yeah. And part of a way to combat that is you write it down. You know, same with, we were talking earlier about writing down our entire schedules. If it's up here, it's a jumble. If I write it down, suddenly it comes into focus, it's more clear. So I've always just written. And through COVID, I started writing more. And we have started working on some originals. And thankfully, we've gotten to the point where we are so busy, we are so booked, that it's become hard to take that time to set aside for that. Sure. Because every time we're getting together, we're like, how can we make the show better? What can we do to bring more stage presence? What can we do to have a more full sound? And then now that we've added a fifth member, Adam, to the band, he started off being a vocalist. Yeah, thanks. We can come back to that if you want, or unless you want me to. No, that's cool. We had him come out to a show, and they're like, yeah, let's get him up on stage for a few songs. Yeah. And then we started talking. He's like, yeah, my dad's, you know, this keyboardist, and he grew up with that. So his dad has been sitting him down teaching him, and I've never seen anyone pick up something so
it's in his
quickly.
Blood. Yeah.
It's in his blood. Like you said, like music as an influence coming up. He can play rhythm guitar, which Tony has just been so excited about, because now he can take some of those lead, you know, licks and do some kind of, and he can do rhythm. Yeah. So now we have backup vocals, lead male vocalist, keyboard, nice, and rhythm guitar. So we kind of hit the jackpot with him, sure, and he fits right in with our little group so well. That was our hesitation, was we have such this magic. Right. How do you bring somebody into that? We have no drama. We have no. Well,
how do you protect it? I suppose, you know. Yeah.
I want to, and that's literally what I've told them. Like, I want to protect it, but I want to bring somebody in. Same way with, I would love to get a band manager at this point. Right now, I'm kind of doing all. I want to go back to just enjoying working on my originals. Right. And I think part of that is going to be getting a band manager, so that way we can work on our originals. Because that's the next step that I want us to take, is working on our originals. Yeah. To get to that point, I'm going to have to hand over the everyday to a band manager. Sure. And trust someone with that. Trying to find someone is proved difficult. But that's kind of the next step. Once I do that, then I think we're going to focus a lot more on our originals, and they definitely have a rock blues sound to them.
Okay.
Tony, with our guitar player with Downfall, he plays in a rock cover band as well, and has played in many. I can't overstate how talented he is. All of our guys, and they bring in so many different unique sounds. Our bass player, he loves those 80s, those big, bold songs. And then Adam and Chris has that metal influence. Adam has that like 90s rock, and then I have my blues. So I feel like rock is going to be a very, very big influence on those songs.
Yeah.
But you're going to feel that passion, that soul.
Yeah.
From that way deep down in your gut that makes you hurt when you hear it, but kind of makes you feel. That's what we want to impart on those songs, and that's me speaking. Everybody's going to have their own input on it as well. Right now, what I would like because I've written so many things, I think it's easier, kind of from what I've seen, because I've given them words. I'm like, here, write music to this. I think it would be a little bit easier, honestly, to have them write music and me put words.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. Yeah.
Because I've tried it the other way, and I'll write 17 verses.
Yeah.
And the song just kind of goes on and on. I kind of, need a little bit more of those parameters to work around.
Yeah, no, I mean, my personal opinion, but that's the way I would do it. I think the keys, or the notes anyway, they give you a vibe. There's a lot of sharps in there that maybe you're a little aggravated, a lot of flats, and maybe it's been a nicer, more pleasant evening, But
so I know Tony said he's written some stuff.
Yeah.
And I know right now our guitarist and our drummer have been talking about it. Mm-hmm. So once we get Adam more assimilated because right now our focus is incorporating keys where we've had to compensate with more bass or more guitar, right, where we can have more diversity now. Once we kind of reconfigure all those songs, and then now we go, oh, well, we can do this and this and this.
Sure.
Like one of my favorite songs is Do I Look Worried by Tedeschi Trucks. I love the Tedeschi Trucks band. And actually got to meet Susan Tedeschi last year, and that was, I don't get starstruck very easily.
Right, okay.
But I met her, and I just kind of stood there and just went, And so
what happened to finding your voice and all of that stuff?
Chris said he was standing there, and he said, I just heard you yell out, Batty, Batty. And he's like, what was the question? She goes, oh, well, they asked us to go hang out with them downtown New Orleans. Yeah. And I was just so starstruck that she's like, they were like, yeah, she plays music. And they were like, oh, you play music? And at this point, I'm still holding her hand because I haven't figured out how to let go. And she's like, what band do you play with? I'm like, in my head, I'm going, all right, you forgot the name of your band. You forgot the name of your band. And it just kind of blurted it out.
Hit you hard, huh?
And it was one of those moments where I see somebody on stage pouring their whole heart and soul out the way that I try to.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my role models. And it was just one of those surreal moments where it was like, I didn't know how to react.
You still take it in even after it's all over.
Oh,
you're still
I got the set list.
Yeah.
I got the set list from, I collect set lists from concerts. Okay. So far I have Jerry Cantrell and Tedeschi Trucks and some 41. I have a whole mix of Kaleo is another one of my right now. I don't know if you've heard his music. No. Kaleo and Bishop Briggs. If kind of my music influence, that would be the best to kind of pinpoint. It's blues rock. Kaleo is it's an Icelandic band, and they are just absolutely phenomenal. I got to see them in concert, and that's where you take your influence and you see like what makes you move. Like that's what you want to impart on the people that you put on shows from too. Hey, I want to move people like that.
Sure. I kind of feel like it's like dreams, and we're sponges, and we take in all of these different elements throughout the courses of our lives, and whatever drips out the bottom is our own, It's our own version of things, The same goes with music and inspiration, I think. But Well, so that's awesome. I appreciate your time. Thank you for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you so much for coming out here. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.